Hi, everyone. I'm John Kenlom, publisher at Drugstore News, and I'm here with Rick Ratliff, who is the CEO and Managing Director at Med Advisor Solutions. Hey, Rick, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, John?
All right, thanks for joining us today. So, Med Advisor Solutions, which is formerly known as Adherus Health, has been a leader in pharmacy-driven patient engagement solutions for over 30 years. Including winning a PM 360 Trailblazer Award in 2023 for persistence and adherence. What does Med Advisor look like today?
Great question, John. As you said today, or in the past, actually, we have done business as Adherus Health in the U.S. We have a significant amount of experience in working with national and regional chain pharmacies, as well as most of the leading grocers across the country in developing and deploying patient engagement solutions through their pharmacies. The business is global now as Med Advisor Solutions, and we do have relationships with organizations that represent over 37,000 pharmacy locations in the U.S., Australia, and New Zealand. But in the U.S., our focus is on working with the 33,000 plus pharmacy locations to design and build technology-enabled patient engagement solutions that are driven through the pharmacies. So through those relationships, we have access to 2/3 of the U.S. population. And we can use that data and machine learning capabilities to individualize communications that come through the pharmacy. And I think it's important to note that it's our intent to leverage the pharmacy's investment in technology and digital technology and bring complementary capability to help accelerate the use of technology to improve patient engagement through their pharmacies.
So that's a good lead into the next question. You made an announcement recently about omni-channel engagement for pharmacy. Tell us a little bit about that product suite. I know it's unique and it helps pharmacies engage better with the consumer patient. Tell us a little bit more about that.
In June of this year, we announced our omni-channel engagement for pharmacy suite of offerings that are powered by what we call our Thrive platform. And our Thrive platform, John, is driven off of machine learning and other data science capabilities, where we link prescription information on the patient, as well as potentially other supporting information to digitize and improve the actual engagement with the patient. So it's really focused on individualizing that engagement with the patient. That's the intent. At the end of the day, we're looking to help pharmacies to improve adherence to medications so that we can drive down overall costs to medications. But at the core of what we're trying to do with the omni-channel engagement for pharmacy is bringing together multiple channels and helping to communicate to that individual in the most appropriate fashion, the most appropriate time, et cetera. We've been working over time, as we talked, at the front, in building different types of patient engagement solutions. We started 30 years ago with the pharmacies in pharma-sponsored direct mail that goes through the pharmacy. We evolved that to integrated print communications of pharma-sponsored medication information and recommendations that flow through the pharmacy's prescription fulfillment workflow. And then we've introduced more recently digital communications capabilities through text, SMS messaging, as well as in some cases through the pharmacy's mobile app. So our omni-channel engagement for pharmacy and our Thrive platform are intended to take these channels, future channels of communications, as well as I've mentioned, the existing communications that pharmacies have already invested in, optimize those communications to the benefit of the patient. So we're engaging the patient the way they want to be engaged, at the time they want to be engaged, and the frequency of engagement to help improve potentially adherence to their medications.
So it wouldn't be 2024 if we didn't talk about AI. And you just mentioned three things to me that stuck out. You mentioned machine learning, we mentioned omni-channel engagement, and you said over time it becomes, more and more personalized. So you as a company get better and better and better every day, which is good for the patient and good for the pharmacy retailers. So talk just a little bit about how you're using leveraging AI, for the pharmacies, so that they can interact better with the consumer and get them more adherent when it comes to their medications.
As we've been talking about the omni-channel engagement for pharmacy, I think it's important to know, that's really the foundation. So through our Thrive platform that powers the suite of offerings, we're able to, as I said, individualize communications, optimize the channels that are used, both the channel itself as well as the timing, the frequency, et cetera. That's really the foundation. We're bringing artificial intelligence into that equation to enable patient engagement in a whole new fashion, which is more of a two-way engagement, which is extremely important. So we recently announced a two-way engagement channel driven off of AI. We call it Virtual Medication Advisor. And the Virtual Medication Advisor is actually driven off of our Thrive platform and informed by data that is controlled by the organization, that's delivering the solution. So what's really important with our particular solution is that it is a closed loop AI solution to engage the individual through an avatar-like kind of structure, and in a way that is, non-threatening, it's interactive, it's empathetic, and these type of things. But again, it's informed by certain types of data. So the patient has the ability or the understanding, actually, that the data that is informing the interaction comes from the FDA, could come from a peer-reviewed, approved type content that feeds into the solution itself, as opposed to what we hear a lot about in the market on ChatGPT and other types of advanced AI solutions that are learning over time from any and all available public information. This is a controlled environment so that the patient interaction is with data that is approved and is well vetted, et cetera. So that interaction in knowing where the data comes from is extremely important. And we're enabling the patient to actually get access to medication information 24/7. So they don't have to wait for the pharmacy to open. They don't have to wait for pharmacist availability in order to get access to our information on their medications or answer questions on their medications. They can do that at any time in a more interactive type fashion.
Right. So the quality of your data is far superior to any other system, and therefore you're able to personalize and engage better and do a better job of recommending the right care to that patient.
Well, that's a good question. So the recommendation of care would only be to the extent that there is a recommendation associated with the specific data. The intent is not to replace, care delivery. It's intended to replace access to information. So what's really important is that, as opposed to going onto the internet and doing a search on a given medication and assuming that any of that response that you receive is appropriately supported with the right information, you're going to a service that you know has behind it the right type of data to enable that interaction. So in this case, in our early demonstrations that we'll demonstrate at the NACDS Total Store Expo coming up,
Yep.
we'll show how the SDA data is what is on medications is what is used to power the interaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why retail pharmacy and the patient can trust that advisor solution. So, right. Okay. I get it.
Right.
Um, Thank you. Um, so, you know, our readers, our audience always wants to know what's next. So, how do you see pharmacies effectively moving into the future? What's next on the horizon in terms of the role that pharmacy is going to play in healthcare, and how do we further advance patient engagement?
Pharmacies are definitely faced with a number of challenges. I think at the same time, there's also a number of opportunities. This year, pharmacies are, I think, they're projected to fill somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 billion prescriptions, which in and of itself is a significant load on the pharmacy, and streamlining the processes and the engagement, and even looking at the kind of capabilities we just talked about, significant in and of itself. In addition, following the pandemic, pharmacies are continuing to administer vaccines, and they're administering, more and more of the vaccines that are coming into the market, such as when RSV was released last year, the majority of RSV vaccines were actually administered in the pharmacy.
Yep.
And as we look into the future, there's definitely a move. This is both the U.S. and outside the U.S. to move the designation of the pharmacist, or add to the designation of the pharmacist the ability to provide certain services in line with a primary care provider. And so this expanded scope of practice is going to, add additional load and work onto the pharmacy. And then finally, I think with competition from online pharmacies and discount programs that are putting pressure on our legacy pharmacy organizations, this is all helping to push pharmacy in a variety of directions. And this is at a time when pharmacy graduates are decreasing from pharmacy school.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of an issue with staffing shortages, et cetera, in the face of all this change. So in the face of all this change, and pharmacies moving to a more central role in healthcare, potentially as a healthcare hub or a healthcare gateway, if you will, technology is more and more important in order to help streamline workflows, improve patient engagement, streamline customer experience, and continue to improve customer experience in the face of all of the change. So when we look at what we do relative to our omni-channel solutions for pharmacy and what we're doing with artificial intelligence, this is intended to a great extent to help with certain aspects of improving the patient engagement and leveraging the pharmacy's investment in their own technologies, and help them to lower the cost and streamline their ability to use technology to improve patient engagement.
Yeah. So you alluded to it. And last question. The pharmacist is being asked to do a lot. And
Yeah.
so we can't keep piling the work on them, and unless we make them more efficient, more productive. So we got to give them the right tools. So maybe you could just go a little deeper into, how do you see the innovative tools that you have, and maybe even others, that are going to make the pharmacist more productive, or give them back maybe some of their time, and give them more capacity, and maybe, you know, help reduce the burnout that seems to be such a big issue among pharmacists?
Yeah, and it's a great question, and the burnout is definitely an issue as we've been discussing. And as I understand it, there are over 50% of pharmacists have experienced some form of burnout in the recent past, and the load and the challenges, are not going away as we discussed. So, from our perspective, the solutions we're bringing to the table will allow for patients to engage in managing their medications in such a way that will hopefully reduce phone calls to the pharmacy, will hopefully reduce, questions that may take time to be answered by the pharmacy, may streamline approaches that are complementary to current workflows where they're automating prescription refills through mobile applications. They're also automating prescription and other product delivery through, through a variety of home delivery options, if you will, and enabling these kinds of capabilities to improve the customer experience and the patient experience with the pharmacy while decreasing calls into the pharmacy and engagement in the pharmacy should give the pharmacists back a little bit of time in their workday to focus on some of the more complex related questions and issues that they need to deal with. And I think we're most excited about the potential for artificial intelligence. There is a lot of conversation, I think, as you said earlier, around AI and where can it be used to really make a difference. And I think that if you are driving an interaction that is meaningful to an individual and they're getting the information they need, that again doesn't require the phone call into the pharmacy, but is being brought to you by the pharmacy, continues to bring loyalty and visibility to the kind of service that the pharmacy's bringing and the innovation the pharmacy's bringing to the individuals in their community. And I think as a result of all of that, we'll start to see opportunities to offload time from the pharmacist and the pharmacy team so that, again, they're more focused on managing the more complex kind of situations.
It seems like you're saying, let's get it right the first time. And because of the better use of data, the right data at the right time into the right system, garbage in, garbage out. We got to put the right stuff in the first time to get
Right.
the right solution. That's going to
That's
improve
right.
adherence. That's going to improve persistence. It's going to make care more convenient, more accessible, and improve just the communication between your system, the pharmacy, the patient.
No question. No question. No, I think that's it's very well said.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
Rick Ratliff, CEO and Managing Director, MedAdvisor Solutions. Thank you so much. We appreciate the work that you do. I know the retailers do as well. And let's see how this goes, and let's do it again later on in the year, see where we're at.
Thanks for having me.
Look
Appreciate it.
forward to
Look
it.
forward to it.